यस्य चित्तं द्रवीभूतं कृपया सर्वजन्तुषुः तस्य ज्ञानेन मोक्षेण किं जटा भस्मलेपनैः. The one whose heart melts with compassion for the people, for all beings. What is the need for such a person to attain moksha or attain jnana or apply vibhuti all over his body or tie his hair in matted locks? The essence of spirituality is compassion. And compassion is not just a thought, it is action. So the whole essence of our mission is compassion in action. And this is what we do, whether we are here, whether we are in US, whether in any other country. We always sow these seeds of love and compassion, which fructifies into actions of service to everybody, without any borders, without any discrimination. The idea of all the work that we do around the world is to simply make people a little more compassionate than what they already are. See, human beings are born with this feeling of compassion. But as we grow, we are told, don't give this to them, don't share that with them, this is yours, that is theirs. These kind of narrow-minded ideas are sown in our head by the people around us. They make us selfish. Otherwise, children are born compassionate. They love to share, they love to give, they don't have any such ideas, us and them. But as they grow, these ideas are, implanted in them because of the society that is around. So the only way to reverse this is by removing these weeds of selfishness and sowing seeds of compassion in that place. That's what I do when I go around the world. Deepavali was celebrated everywhere. It is by lighting a lamp or bursting firecrackers or celebrating by wearing new clothes or exchanging sweets and gifts. But in the US, Deepavali we celebrated by lighting lamps of love and compassion, starting from the east coast all the way till the west coast. And as I mentioned, the brightest lamp was the new clinic, medical clinic at Clarksdale, Mississippi, which is the poorer areas of the US. There are many African American people there. They are underinsured or they're uninsured. Many of them cannot access healthcare at all because of the high cost of healthcare in the US. And that is something that was always our discussion throughout the trip, whether how we can help even those, the less fortunate, the less privileged to access healthcare. We had several meetings, and it is to bring to the attention of our medical school. We met large groups of hospitals, their heads, and I told them about what we do in the US and what we are doing in India, and they were so inspired. They're all coming in the month of December and January to visit our medical school and see how can we develop some kind of a relationship with those hospitals in the US, and how can our children and staff also can get some benefit out of the quality of healthcare work that they do, the research work that they do. For the same reason, we visited Stanford School of Medicine. There also I spoke to the professors about the need for doing more epigenetic studies in India and trying to find new drugs which are more useful to Indian genes and not just created because of the global demand, but it should be specific to the Indian requirements or Asian requirements where more populations live. So we will commence a lot of these research and study programs with these very established universities. And the only reason why they wanted to work with us is because they were so inspired by the idea that all this is free. Because as in the US, they say there are no free lunches. Nobody does anything for anybody for free. There is a motive, there is an agenda, there is some reason behind it. But when they saw there is such unconditional work that is happening, not just in India, but across the world in so many countries, and even in their own backyard, in their own delta region of Mississippi, they were very inspired. A lot of people who have made it very big, they came from India, started businesses, they did very well in the US. They were all inspired and motivated to do good from this understanding that we are doing so much of good for so many people. That was the main idea, to turn them into more compassionate individuals who can do more for others. It is said, like a fish that moves in the water and cleans the pond, a sannyasi or a monk must move in the society and clean up the society. It is said, like the spring season that comes and brings cheer and beauty to otherwise a dry and deserted nature. Likewise, the presence of a great being and the movement of the great being amongst the ordinary folks brings a purpose, a sense of joy and fulfillment to everybody. Vasantavat lokahitam charantaha. It is like the spring season that comes and brings joy and beauty. Likewise, these great beings must move in the society and make the society better. That is the idea why we travel. But I definitely missed being here for the Akhand Bhajans, for the Deepavali celebrations, and for the conference on from Karnataka Ganakala Parishad, which was going on. And I was very happy that all the bhajans were conducted well, all students participated with all enthusiasm, and Deepavali was celebrated with a lot of cheer and joy in all campuses. This is a festival of light, and light represents the truth. Asatoma Sadgamaya. Take us from darkness to light. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. From untruth to truth, from darkness to light, and from the idea of that we are just this body which dies, perishes and goes, to the idea that we are immortal spirit. Mrityorma amrutam gamaya. This is the dictate of our Upanishad. This is the idea that is ingrained in our scriptures, that we are immortal spirit. We are not mortal bodies. Bodies are there, they come and go. But as the immortal spirit we stay, we are eternal. And that idea of India is what I wanted to tell the people in the world. But I think the most important idea that really people appreciated was the idea of one world, one family. And everybody said, this is what we needed to hear. This is what the world needs to hear. This is how a world must think, that we are one family, we are one world. We cannot think of ourselves as countries and continents and geographies and communities and castes and religions. That is what is dividing and ruining the world. And the uniting idea of the whole world being one family is something so refreshing, so soothing to hear, so inspiring and motivating for all of us. This was one thing that I heard across all the meetings that we had. So I have changed the motto of the mission to one world, one family, because that is something that the world really, really needs to not just hear, but practice at this point of time. When even in 21st century, we are still not done with our religious wars. We are still not done with economic greed. We are not still with warmongering and divisive politics. Despite having seen the side effects, despite having seen the bad ill effects of all these things, all the wrong things that we have done for a whole millennium, yet we are back in the same place doing the same wrong things and doing it with greater intensity because we have so much more weaponry and warfare and technology at our disposal. It is worse than before. And that really saddens me when I think of all these places where people are still suffering because of the greed or because of the cruelty of a few, selfishness of a few. Many innocent people are suffering in the world. The only solution to all of this is when we think everybody is ours and we get rid of greed and live with this idea that we are here to do good to each other and nothing more. Then I think the world will start healing, it will start changing. But somebody must show them the way. Somebody must do it for them and show the way. And that is what I am trying to do. I know with whatever group we are, we cannot go and save every person in the world and change every family in the world. But whatever we do, it's like lighting a lamp. And a lamp, once lit, is capable of lighting many more lamps. And that is how darkness can be dispelled. So the idea of lighting lamps of compassion is what is the idea of our mission. So wherever you go, whatever you do, however you are, please follow this simple idea of being compassionate and kind to each other. Because your compassion will inspire 10 others. Those 10 others will get to inspire 10 more people. And that is how this will spread to the whole world. And even if the night is dark, it will be lit up by the lamps of compassion everywhere in the world. That will be the true Deepavali that we should think of celebrating. A lamp must burn because that is the only way it can give light to others. If the lamp decides not to burn, candle decides not to burn, just because it will diminish, then there is no light in the world. Everywhere there will be darkness. Some few people have to take to this path of sacrifice and service so that the whole world benefits from it. I am only hoping that many of you will follow in this path. Many of you will offer yourselves for the sacred task of bringing light of joy, compassion, love to the world and making those dark corners also light up with cheer and hope. That is the mission that you are a part of, each one of you. Old and young, Indian or foreigner, students or staff, everyone is a lamp, everyone is a candle. And each one of us should offer ourselves to do what we can do for the betterment of the whole world. And if you have that compassion, let me assure you, you don't need any great spiritual austerities. You don't need to go to Himalayas or grow your hair and tie it up in matted locks or smear vibhuti and all over and live in shmashanas. None of this is required to change the world. All that is required to change you and change the world is a bit of compassion. And that compassion is what I'm trying to teach everybody. Unconditional compassion for all beings, not just human beings, but for all beings, should be the way of the world. Such a person is already liberated, such a person is already enlightened, such a person has achieved all that needed to be achieved. Be such people. That is the message for this trip, and the message of Deepavali, the message of Akhanda Bhajan, everything put together is the message of compassion for all beings. So try to practice this compassion every day in whatever way you can, and do more than your might to make somebody's life better. In this act of doing good, we will become God. And that is the message to the whole world, which should be shown in action. How much ever I speak, they would like to know whether this really works. And when they come here and look at all of you, they must believe it, they must be convinced that this works. And I've invited all of them from around the world to come to India. And I'm planning to organize a cricket match in January. I hope that all happens. And the stadium will open with a friendship match between various nations, various players from various nations, that mid-Jan. The true spirit of why sports was even invented in the first place, to bring people together, help them interact, help them bond with each other, and feel like a family, like children in a family. They all play together for the joy of playing. They don't play to win games or to win accolades or prizes. They just play together because they are a family and they love playing with each other. Sports should be used to unite the world, and that is my idea of sports. So I want to start the stadium with a very good match between all the people of the world, small match, maybe T10 or something like that, but just to begin. And then we have the sports and cultural meet of all the institutions. All the children from all the campuses will come to Mudanhalli, and they will participate in all the annual sports and games. I hope that will bring a new way of looking at how sports should be a uniting power in the world, not a dividing power. It's not a competition, but it's cooperation. It's about sharing, not it's about winning. And that is the kind of idea. In sports also, as a university, we must promote and propagate. All of you should participate in whatever way you can. I don't want any student to simply sit and say, I do not want to participate in anything. Do anything, but participate in some sport. It's okay even if you lose, I do not mind that. But not participating is something I really mind. So in some way you must all participate in what you. Some people are cultural people, they participate in musical and cultural activities. Some are people from sports background, let them do that. Anybody and everybody is welcome. And please create some event for our devotees and elders also. Meanwhile, continue to study. Whatever times you have, make best use of it. I don't waste even 1 minute. If I have some work, I'll plan and finish it. And that is how we are achieving so much. We will have limited time only. Our institutions like that, our schedule is like that. But mind you, great people also achieve great things in the same 24 hours in which the ordinary have done nothing. So it's the utilization of time and efficiency and your focus and concentration which is more important than the time at your disposal. Anything with that you do with great concentration and focus, that will help you to do things in shorter time, achieve more in less time. So make use of your time very well, because time wasted will never come back. Everything else might come back. When time goes, it never comes back. So make good use of your time. I will see you soon later.